What? African grandmothers? In a kitchen filled with the smell of stew and pepper, he confessed his student debt. And just like that, her old hands froze not from shock, but from memory. She looked at him, eyes soft but steady, and said, "When we borrowed in my time, it wasn't from banks, it was from people. And what we owed wasn't money, it was trust. So tell me, my son, who do you—" He didn't answer at first. The only sound was the bubbling pot, and the weight of her words filling the small kitchen. Finally, she spoke, her voice, soft like evening wind. "My son," she said, "a debt is not always what you pay back. Sometimes, it's what you pay forward." She smiled faintly, eyes fixed on the bubbling pot. "Let me tell you about the man who borrowed a goat," she began. "He promised to return it in one moon. But when the moon came, he had eaten the goat." He stared at her for a long moment, the parable echoing in his head. Then, slowly, he understood. The goat wasn't just about money. It was about responsibility and memory. He whispered, almost to H. She smiled, a slow, knowing smile, the kind that only comes from a life well lived. Then she said, "In our time, we didn't count money first, we counted people, because one good person is worth more." Without another word, she took his empty bowl and placed it back in front of him. "You see this?" she said softly. "An empty bowl doesn't mean hunger, it means room to be filled again." He looked at the bowl for a long time before he spoke. "But Mama," he said quietly, "what if people no longer keep their word? What if they take, but never give back?" She smiled that slow, knowing smile. "My son," she said, "Africa survives not because all remember, but because someone always does." In the firelight, he saw her differently, not just a grandmother, but Africa itself. Every wrinkle, a story. Every silence, a lesson. She looked at him and said softly, "If the world forgets its debt to Africa, will you forget yours?" In the silence, their hearts spoke louder than words. Between them, generations met, debt ended, and wisdom began anew. By morning, something had shifted. The debt still existed, but the fear was gone. He no longer carried it alone. He carried it with her, and with Africa. Grandmother, the final lesson is love. Love for heritage, love for truth, love for the future. The story ends, the lesson begins. Will you stand, build, and leave a legacy?